Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, depends where you are in the world. Welcome back to the Jumper Punch. My name is Bangkok Joe. As the name states, I'm situated here in Bangkok and in the lovely leafy suburb of, I can't remember where you are, Vince.
Don't worry, Melbourne.
I'm in somewhere in Melbourne. Let me
Yes.
introduce a former president of the Carltonians and my longtime host, Vince Loccisano. Big Vincenz. How are you, Vince?
Great to see you, Joe. Yes, thank you very much, and warm welcome to you, and welcome to 2024. What a season ahead we're all expecting. And I actually went to a Life Members lunch today, Joe, over at the Q Golf Club. It was fantastic, as usual, catching up with all the Life members, of which about 80% of them are past players, of course, as you'd expect.
Yes.
Mixed in with a sprinkling of board members and a few others like myself who've.
I was going to say a few hangers on like you, Vince.
Hangers on.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that. Hey. But anyway, yes, great to go out there and enjoy a lovely lunch and catch up with all the Life members. What's that?
Where was it held?
The Q Golf Club.
Okay, and
if you must know, guys like Stephen Kernahan, Craig Bradley, and Greg Williams, and even Adrian Gleeson get together for a game of golf at Q Golf Club every week. So if you want to meet them all, just hang around there and wait until they turn up.
Hey, so listen, today's show is just a bit of back to blow the cobwebs out. We appreciate comments. So today's show is probably a bit loose. But we encourage.
Well, we haven't got a full-on game for premiership points to analyse and get votes on or anything like that, have we?
That's right. Vince, it would be remiss of me not to welcome back Lana Owens. Hi, Lana.
She's back. Great, Lana.
She's a life member of the Jumper Punch, I think. And then I've got Peter V. Bluebagger. Hey, Pete. Paul Mentor, welcome back.
G'day, Paul. Vince, big hello to Paul.
So let's do a few things first. Yep. Should we drop the bombshell? Not about you being pregnant.
I only look pregnant.
No.
All right. I don't even know what you're referring to here, Joe. So
well, Peter's beaten me to it.
On all of us.
Well, Peter's beaten me to it. Will Brownie be back next week?
Yes, that's the big bombshell. Yes, unfortunately, everyone, as much as we loved having Peter Brown as our special comments man last year, he does have plans to do a lot of travelling this year and just couldn't commit to doing it on a weekly basis. We may see him pop in for the odd guest appearance here and there, but it won't be anything more than the odd appearance. So we'd love to thank Brownie. I certainly would, from the bottom of my heart, for all of the efforts and for the commitment he showed to us and our channel. He got nothing out of it other than to spend an hour to an hour and a half every weekend with us.
Priceless,
we loved having him.
Priceless. Sorry, I'm sitting. If you can see a bit of sun, I'm in the. It's the middle of the day here.
It looks like a ray of sunshine coming up from the God Almighty One himself, shining down upon you.
It's just my halo, Vince, that's reflecting. So I'm sorry, it's the middle of the day here in Bangkok, and it's.
It would be what? Somewhere closer to 3:30 than 7:30. It's 7:30 here in Melbourne.
3:30 in the afternoon. It's the middle of winter, and it's 33 degrees.
We've only just finished summer about 3 days ago, and I think we had something like 20. So anyway.
No, in winter is the only time we get consistent weather. It's the minimum's 26 and the maximum's either 33 or 34.
Yep.
So I will try and move this in a minute.
That's all right. And by the way, we should mention, seeing you're coming to us all the way from Bangkok, Thailand, that our show is brought to you by...
hang on. I was going to do a bit of admin, but you told me not to. But first, let us do some admin. So first of all, don't forget, we are at Blue Sunday on Facebook, and we are part of the Jumper Punch channel, which is on YouTube. So, guys, we'd really appreciate some likes, shares, and subscribes.
Doesn't cost you a cent.
It doesn't cost you a cent. I know the boys on the Jumper Punch have a subscription where you can get the Paolo, the Rocco, and
That's
the
membership.
Mars.
That's not a subscription. So
No,
you
I
can
know
press the subscribe button. Won't cost you a cent. Helps the channel a lot. But if you want to join as a member, a financial member, yeah, they do have those different options, don't they, Joe? You want to go through them quickly?
Yeah. Sorry, hang on. I've gone to the. I to be honest, Vince, I don't know them off heart. I know that there's
they're all named after the three boys. So the one.
Well, I know that,
level,
but I don't know how much they are. That's very remiss of me.
Well, they may actually vary this year, so I better not open my big mouth. They might have changed the prices for all I know.
Yeah,
but you've got the Mars. I think that was the cheapest one last year. Then you had the Rocco in the middle, and then you've got the Paolo, which is your top level one, and that will get you just about everything you could wish for as a member of the channel, including an opportunity to be at, I think, on the Jumper Punch show. So there you go, something like that. So anyway, the details will be on the Jumper Punch channel on YouTube, no doubt.
Yeah, no problem. So, and you saw me scrub. And as Vince rightly pointed out, this show is brought to you by my tour company, Retired Working RW4U, which stands for Retired Working for You Tours. We do everything in Thailand. We run tours and we even make up tours. Or even if you just want to come here and you need a hotel or you need some advice or something, please look us up. I'll put up my email address if anyone wants anything. Info.
That's a good idea. Wouldn't that be on the website anyway if someone wanted to make an inquiry?
It is, but just in case people are too lazy and don't want to go on the website.
Okay. So info at rw4utours.com.
That's true. So we're just in the process of signing a deal with a big Australian touring company. So
excellent. Sounds promising.
So yeah. So hopefully that's
Gina.
good.
Hello, Gina Harris.
Yeah, Gina and Lana.
Back too.
They're our stalwarts. So yeah. So Vince.
Hey, by the way, Joe, before we move on, we should mention you dropped the bombshell that Brownie's not coming back, but stay tuned because we're working on replacements, and I say replacements because maybe we'll have someone. I'm gonna firm this up during the week who is going to be with us every single Sunday, like Brownie was. However, we may also have a variety of different people coming on from time to time. So stay tuned. We will be back next Sunday and every Sunday thereafter, apart from, I think, the game against Essendon where we play on the Sunday night. So we might have to do that one on the Monday. But apart from those, odd anomalies, we'll be here every Sunday night. And with any luck, have a regular guest panelist or guest commentator, if you like, to give us his analysis of the game. And at times we may have a variety of different people coming on to pitch in. It might be once a month, it might be once every 6 weeks, but we're going to finalise that in the next week or so.
And that's what you were doing today. Well, hang on. Enzo's got someone for you.
Rich Jones, already gone down that path, Enzo? I had a quick chat to Reece today, so we will see. We will see. He's just got to get back to me, and we'll have a quick chat about it. But there's a few different irons in the fire. Let me put it that way. I haven't got all my eggs in one basket.
Vince is working behind the scenes. So there you go. Hey, Vince. I was watching a practice game before, or whatever they want to call these preseason games. As
community series games, I think they call them community series.
Is there another one at the moment, or is that it? Was St Kilda, the Western Bulldogs, the last one?
To be honest, no. Didn't the Bulldogs play Hawthorn yesterday?
I said St Kilda North. It was quite spiteful, actually. Yeah,
I didn't see it because, as I said, I've been at this live members luncheon, so I don't think there was any demand for a television to watch a St Kilda North Melbourne game.
No.
So
I didn't even know it was on.
What's happened with that?
I didn't even know it was on. I've got this internet TV. So we've played, I guess, 2 hit-out games, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'm going to change the run sheet a bit. You've said that let's go into the thing. First, let's have a look at who's departed the club and who's come in.
Yes. Yep.
I think that might be an ideal situation. So, oh, okay.
Let's do it.
So this didn't work, but that's why I was thinking. So
close enough.
In is Matt Carroll from the rookie draft.
Yeah.
Orazio Fantasia, who was a delisted free agent. I think he came across from Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
Elijah Hollins, who was a trade from Gold Coast and older brother of Ollie Hollins. Our first draft pick was a guy called Ashton Moyer, who I believe they've got huge raps on him, but he's only 18, so, let's hope he's all right.
I like the way he looks, But
Rob Monaghan. Now I'm going to go out on a limb here, international rookie. I'm going to guess he's Irish.
No, he's half Italian, half Spanish with a name like Monaghan. What do you reckon?
And then there's a guy that we picked up at number 34, Billy Wilson. Now, I don't know if people know much about Billy Wilson. I certainly didn't. And a very good friend of mine who's a Carlton supporter who has a holiday house down at Rosebud raves about this guy. He says he thinks he's going to be quite good.
Billy Wilson?
Yeah, he says he just gets the ball and just runs straight ahead.
Yep.
So I'm not too sure about him, but as my friend said to me, he said I don't think he'll make it this year, but he said watch this space. He plays very much like Liam Stocker, very hard at the ball and just runs. So that's okay. And we lost.
Well, we know what happened with Liam Stocker.
Yeah, well, he was pretty hard today. All he wanted to do was fight today.
Yeah.
We lost Ed Curnow, who was a great servant to the club.
Saw him today.
I feel sorry for the guy because he was a heart and soul player and never really got the success. He played in teams that finished 18th and 17th and stuff
he was
like
essentially the last player, I reckon, in that group of players, along with guys like Mark Murphy, Cade Simpson,
Bryce Gibbs,
etc. That group that played together for probably close on 15 years together. So I remember Simo started in 2003, and then of course Mark Murphy was drafted in the 2005 national draft. Bryce Gibbs was taken pick 1 in the 2006. So they all pretty much finished around about 2020, 2021. Yeah. So 15 odd years. It was that era. It wasn't a very successful one, but they did play in some finals together around when Brett Ratton was the coach.
Yeah. And Paddy Dow. Paddy Wow. Traded to St Kilda. Zach Fisher was traded to North, and the bits I saw today, he was getting a lot of the ball. He had apparently 36 touches, but did nothing with 33 of them. Josh Honey, Lockie O'Brien, and Sam Philp were delisted.
Yes, very injury riddled, unfortunately, Sam Philp. Hardly played more than a handful of games, but very talented, but just couldn't get on the park. And eventually, I think Carlton's patience ran out. Yep.
And the whipping boy retired, Lockie Plowman.
Yes, he was a good servant of the club.
I felt sorry for him. I thought
he was one of the few ex-GWS players that you would have to say was a worthwhile draftee for many of those years. Maybe not all of them, but he was a bit of a whipping boy towards the end. A lot of people were calling for his head on the platter. But anyway, eventually he retired.
So they were the changes to the playing list. I guess off the field, what's his name? Leo Sayer got himself another year. And
Luke Sayers, the president.
Leo.
Yes.
He's a one-man band, apparently, because I'm a one-man band. And then there was a couple of other changes. Some girl came on, didn't she? And some guy went on. To be honest,
what happened is that last year, around about, I think it was June. I think it was about when we lost to Essendon. I think Craig Matheson and the rest of his board members weren't seeing eye to
Resigned?
eye, and Craig had a few things to say in the media, and needless to say, about a week later, he stepped off the board. Now, they never replaced Matheson until literally a month before the AGM, which was held in February, only two weeks ago, roughly. Not even 2 weeks ago it was held. So this lady called Helen Ruzincic, which is, I think, a Croatian or Serbian background, something like that. Certainly that's what the name is. Whether she's fully Serbian or Croatian, I'm not sure. Maybe she's just married to someone of that name. I'm not sure. But she's coming onto the board. So she was ratified at the AGM as well. And Lara Carey and Rob Priestley, who were two of the four changes at the end of 2021 season, when all of that upheaval happened with David Teague being sacked and change of president, change of CEO, change of everything, change of coach. They were two of the new additions to the board from 2.5 years ago, and it was their turn to be re-elected. And because no one else put their hand up at the AGM for that, they were reinstated.
Anyway, so look, let's hope that there's a bit of stability there, and there's no. I know. Mr. Sayers is in a bit of strife with a few off-field things, and for his sake, I hope he goes okay, and I hope that doesn't affect the club. We played 2 games, Vince.
We did.
So the first game we played against Geelong, both of them were at Icon Park, or Princess Park, as I'd like to call it.
Princess Park, yeah.
In both games, I didn't. I'll be honest. I've only seen highlights of the 2 games.
Yep.
So the first one obviously wasn't a very high-scoring affair. 8-8, 56 to 10-13, 73. I know that they pulled a lot of players on and off.
Yeah.
So,
and
I guess probably the same with Carlton versus Melbourne. Not full-strength teams. Before we go ahead, let me just go through the injuries that we have. Matt Duffy, who I don't even know who he is. Is he one of the new guys? He's done a knee and he's not back till 2025. Corey Durden, hamstring, is a test for this round. Elijah Hollins is suspended. He's not eligible till round 3. Matt Owies has a calf injury. He's a test for round 1. Jack Silvani, much to our girls' disappointment, did his knee. He's not back till 2025. Jacob Wiedering, who we sorely missed in defence, has a calf injury. He is expected to be back for round 3. Zach Williams, Jack Martin, and Sam Walsh. Zach Williams and Jack Martin have knee injuries. Sam Walsh has a back injury. They are tests for round 1, but from what I've heard, probably not likely to play. So, Vince, did you watch these games?
The Melbourne game I certainly did. I watched the entire game. The Geelong one I only saw bits and pieces. But I've got to say this. Now, we shouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say, and sort of judge the team too critically based on a couple of preseason practice games.
No, it's only preseason too.
But the question is, why are we doing these? Why are we having these practice games? Is it just to blow out the cobwebs and get out on the park and run around and, if the ball comes your way, you grab it, and if it doesn't, you're not going to chase after it too hard? Or are you trying to implement things that you've learned in the preseason, whether it's a change of game plan or a tweaking of the game plan, or you're trying different players in different positions? I know that there's a bit of experimentation that does happen with these games, but the thing that bothered me was that I just couldn't identify anything at all in either of those games that clearly showed what the coaching staff and what the football department, if you like, has been working on in the off season. I really couldn't. Take the Melbourne game, you could clearly see that Salem had been brought into the midfield for a reason because of his clean delivery into the forward line. You could see that they were using the corridor a lot more and very, very effectively, I've got to say.
Melbourne.
And their delivery into that forward line was as clean and as sharp as I've seen for a while. So clearly they're working on their deficiencies. They're working on areas that they were, that were regarded as a weakness for them last year. They're looking at why they've, lost consecutive finals now in 2 consecutive seasons. They've lost both of their finals. So they're working on things, and you could see clearly that they were doing that. I couldn't see any evidence of what we were working on. I think the best news to come out of the practice game against Melbourne was Harry Mackay. Now, strangely enough, the media picked up on one kick, the shank kick. You know, the one we're talking about where he had a shot for goal and it shanked to his left-hand side, to the right-hand side. I think he hooked it and it went out of bounds. Now, apart from that one kick, which they jumped on in the media, I actually thought Harry played really well and was also showing us that he can pinch hit in the ruck as well. It may actually give us the option of playing Harry as a relief ruckman to either Pitnet or De Koning, and my choice would be De Koning, because I think he needs to be given some added responsibility now to take on the number 1 ruck mantle. I don't know if we can afford the luxury of having both Pitnet and De Koning in the same team. I just think that we might have to resort to trusting one of them to do the bulk of the work. I mean, Max Gawn absolutely took both of them apart last week.
He's a pretty good player,
and but he's also in good nick. And you can tell that the Melbourne players took that practice game seriously. They clearly went there with a plan, and they executed that plan and very, very well. Now,
maybe the Carlton plan was to get their odds up.
Well, look, I'm just giving you my view. I'm not saying it's 100% right. Everyone can argue with me and debate the point. In fact, I welcome anyone who wants to put forward their own views. That's fine. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me. But I just thought that there was nothing I could take away from that game other than Harry. I thought Harry Mackay was the best news that came out of that practice game.
Yeah.
We've got a comment here. Jason, welcome to the show. Good to have the comments. What is he saying?
Vince, it's opportunities for clubs to practice. Practice games in the 80s, 90s or Ansett Wizard Cup meant something, but now it's just a game and you hope no injuries. Look at that concussion. I don't know who got concussed.
I spoke to Brownie. Actually, I did talk to Brownie during the week, and he just thought, they didn't seem to be going in, and he reckons that you've got more of a chance of getting injured in practice games when you don't go in, when you are hesitant and you're not really going for it. That's where you get smashed by the opposition, and they'll cannon into you because you're only being very half-hearted about going in for the ball. And he's of the view that the best thing you can do in practice games is to go in hard and get used to that type of thing, so that you're ready, you're primed for round 1.
Yeah, Vince, can I just cut in there? Gina, she's put a comment. Don, who's doing it hard at the moment with the horrible C word, I'm assuming that's cancer, in the Austin hospital, and it's his birthday. So from Vince, myself, and probably everyone at the Jumper Punch, Don, happy birthday, and we hope that you are fighting the disease. I know my partner died of it last year, and it's horrible. So all the best from all of us here.
Yes.
One thing that those games did show me, right, or proved to me from just the limited highlights that I saw, is that Mark Pitnet is not a number 1 ruckman, right? And I'll stand by this. He can tap, and that's it. And the day of the tap ruckman is well and truly over.
You've got to contribute more than that, don't you?
Well, he does nothing around the ground. Like Max Gawn kicked a goal from 60 metres out from a ruck.
That was very early in the first quarter. That was the sign of things to come.
Pitnet or whatever his name is, I couldn't even see him kicking 20 metres. Yeah. So Lou says he's not even a number 3. Obviously, someone at the club saw something last year because they re-signed him for 4 years.
Cool.
I mean,
they must have got him. They must have got him pretty cheap for 4 years.
He must have thought that 777 come up on the poker machine at all. Yes. So,
look, put it this way, Joe. I think it was not a very good introduction to the 2024 season. If players have been resting on their laurels and sort of, I guess, drinking their own bathwater, reading all the media about how everyone's predicting us to make top 4 and playing a grand final and even win the premiership, a couple of the commentators have, I think they're going to be woken up pretty quickly that there's a lot of work to do before you can win a premiership. They don't come easy.
Well, yeah.
And, I think I'm not sure what they've been working on. This is the question I would have for Michael Voss if I had the opportunity to ask him. And that is, what were you hoping to gain out of those practice matches? What have you been working on in the preseason that we can actually see evidence of in those practice games? Because I couldn't see a thing.
I'll tell you another thing it pointed out to me is that our backline desperately relies on Jacob Wiedering. Yes. Desperately. And, yes. I mean, maybe, Caleb Marchbank
Marchbank was missing from that practice game.
No, he was ill. Player. But he needs to step up. Mitch McGovern needs to step up big time, right? I mean, he owes us.
He
owes us. He absolutely owes that football club. He's been running around for the last 5 years on big dollars doing sweet FA. I'm not going to refrain from saying.
Well, like a lot of players, Joe, they enter their final year of the contract and they all of a sudden improve out of sight, as McGovern did last year, and he got himself another couple of year contract. So, what can I say? But you're right. He owes us in that sense. And I hope that he stands up a lot better than he did in that practice game. And I'm hoping that, a bit like the Carlton sides of the early 80s and late 70s, they didn't take their practice games all that seriously back then. They'd still go on and win premierships. But these days, I think they try and get more out of these practice games from the point of view of implementing a few things that they've been working on.
Oh, I won't do that. Sorry, I've been playing. I just play. I see Rocco has made a few other layouts, so I just wanted to try them out. That one we were a bit in your face.
Right.
Anything else that we can take out of? Oh, for those of you that are interested, I was watching Fox Footy before. Michael Voss is on that 360 show tomorrow with
Robbo.
I can't stand either of them. But
AFL 360,
yeah, AFL 360. So maybe someone will ask him on the show what he hoped to achieve out of it. Look, I'm really surprised that we didn't try and find another key defender. Maybe this is the way that they play TDK. Someone said to me that maybe I think Brownie said it last year that
playing
centre-half back for a year or two just to get him a bit of physicality. Mightn't be a bad idea.
And not only that, it makes him responsible for a man. And, his own brother plays that in that position for Geelong. And maybe DeConning needs to be given that same opportunity.
Maybe.
A bit like McGovern. I mean, we played Mitch McGovern for probably 3 or 4 years in the forward line. His brother Jeremy plays brilliantly in the back line for West Coast as an intercept defender. The minute we did that with Mitch, all of a sudden he came good. So maybe that's what we ought to be trying, a few things like that. That's what I would have liked to see in the practice matches. A few positional changes where you see if DeConning can hold down a spot at centre-half back. You see if Harry can ruck for a fair portion of the game rather than just standing in the forward line.
Yeah, Jason's probably put it here. We are a better team who rely on one or two players. We've spent years rebuilding with a fab coach. We have the depth to bring in replacements. Wiedering out, and we should not complain.
Well, I think Jason's making a good point there, and that is that the really good teams, the teams that win premierships, it's one soldier out another one comes in. It's all about system and it's all about game plan. And even if you've got soldiers that have to go out through injury or suspension, another one comes in and fills that spot. Now, if our defence is that brittle that the minute someone like Jacob Wiedering's out of it, it falls apart, well, that doesn't say too many good things about our system in defence. Someone else, whether it's Lewis Young, whether it's resting De Koning back there or another tall defender, someone else needs to come in and fill that position. And if we're sadly lacking like we were in that practice match against Brisbane without the Wiedering, I can't see us holding down Danaher and Hipwood and these sorts of guys.
Lana says we have depth. I disagree, sort of. Yeah, we have depth in certain positions. I don't think we've got the depth in the ruck. Yeah. And I really don't see another key defender other than Wiedering. I mean, I know we've got Lewis Young, Caleb Marchbank. Caleb Marchbank was out, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But Lewis Young just showed nothing to me. Nothing. And it's quite sad because I actually rated him. But anyway.
Okay.
Then, so this week, it's the start. Friday, 8th of March. I haven't got the time.
Doesn't that look weird seeing round 0?
Yeah, I put it up. You in the thing you put round 1, but it's actually round 0.
No, you're absolutely right. It is round. It's opening round opening.
Maybe it's only 4 matches. 0.
Yeah, well, for the majority of the teams, it doesn't start this coming week, but for us, it does, along with 7 others. What they're doing, of course, the AFL, in case anyone's not aware, is that they're scheduling 2 matches in each of the 2 states that are essentially rugby league states. And why is that? Because the rugby league decided to go to Las Vegas and play their round this week over there.
It's not rugby league.
I know.
It's rugby league.
Oh, sorry.
What's that idiot's name?
I don't know who you're talking about. One of the commentators?
The president of the NRL that can't say rugby league. He says rugby league.
Is that Peter Volandis?
Yeah, that's him. Rugby league.
He's the CEO.
Yeah. He can't even say rugby. He can't even say rugby. He says rugby league.
Anyway.
One more.
Well, the fact of the matter is that there's 2 games in Sydney and 2 games in southern Queensland. One of them is ourselves coming up against Brisbane in a rematch, a preliminary final rematch between the 2 teams. This is, of course, the clash between the 2 sides where Carlton kicked the first 5 goals, wasn't it, of that preliminary final, and looked for all money like we were going to run over them, and all of a sudden Brisbane settled down and ended up winning the game by less than 3 straight kicks, but nevertheless it got them into a grand final. I don't know. If we come out and win this, I think most people would be surprised purely because of our preseason form, but you never know. Maybe we've just been keeping our powder dry, and we've got a lot more energy that we're sort of saving for the big games.
Let's hope.
Brisbane looked for all money like they were spot on in their practice matches. I saw their match against who was it last week that they played? I'm just trying to think. I know that they came up against one of the. I think it was the Sydney Swans, and they were quite impressive. And I think it'll be a tough game for us. And they haven't lost a game there for well over 12 months, nearly 2 years.
Yeah, well, if we can win it, it'll set up our season. I agree, Luke.
It certainly will, Luke. No doubt about that.
Before we get to who's going to win and why, you and I did our best 23, right?
We did.
Of players. So here's your best 23. So do you want to read out your team?
Now, let's just make it clear for everyone. This is on the basis if every single player on the list, and I think there's 44 of them at the moment. I know we go up to number 46 with Matthew Cottrell, but I think there's 2 numbers. And I think they're numbers 26 and 36, and they haven't been filled. But anyway, of the 44 players currently on the list,
that are available,
assuming every single one of them are available, fit and ready to go.
hang on, except for Jack Silvani and Duffy, who were out for the whole year.
Okay. Except for the ones that we know are going to be missing all year.
Yeah.
Go. So this is my best 23. Marchbank, Wiedering and Newman. Interestingly, that's consecutive numbers, 22, 23, 24 across the fullback line. Sard, McGovern, and I threw in Williams purely on what we know he can do. And I think if he's fit and firing and playing at his best and playing in his best form, I think he takes that halfback flank. Okay. Even though he hasn't played a senior game for over a year. Centres, well, obviously, Akers was a really good news story from last year. We knew that the wings were a weakness, and credit to Nick Austin and his recruiting team. They certainly seem to have recruited in 2 or 3 good wingmen that we can put on the wing. Yeah. I'm putting Akers on one of those wings. I'm putting Cripps in the middle. Now, I put Doherty on the other wing, but you'll notice there that I've got Ollie Hollands on the interchange bench, so I'm sort of expecting to rotate those 2 guys on that wing. And the other one that can fill a position on the wing is Cottrell, because he's got the tank to do that. I've put Cottrell on a half-forward flank because I really think he showed something last year that he can play forward and kick goals. So I'm putting Jack Martin, who, again, if he's fit and firing, is a very valuable player at half-forward. Mackay at centre half-forward and Cottrell. And the full forward line, young Motlop, who, by the way, got a bit injured in that practice game. I think he'll be right for the opening game. I don't think it was a serious injury, but they took him off as a precaution so that he didn't do any further damage to his foot. But Motlop on one forward pocket. Charlie Curnow, obviously, our Coleman medal winning full forward from last year. And I've put in there again, I'm based on what we've seen of him when he's been at Essendon and Port Adelaide. When he's fit and firing and not injured, Orazio Fantasia on the other forward pocket. I think he adds a bit of class. And I've put him in there ahead of guys like Owies and Corey Durden. Rucks, as I've said there, I alluded to it before. I don't think we can afford the luxury of both De Conning and Pitnet, so I've gone with De Conning. I think he needs the responsibility. He's been on our list now for a good 7 years, and I think this is his 8th year. He'd have to be pretty close to 25. He'd be in his mid-20s, so I think he's ready. Chera as a ruck rover, and Sam Walsh as the rover. Interchange, Ollie Hollands. David Cunningham, I think, again, if he's fit and firing, his best football is very classy. Hewitt is as one of the midfield group, starting him on the bench. You can't play them all. And the other young guy that I think really has established himself as a very valuable defender is Jordan Boyd there, number 37, who I think can come on and play a role. He actually came in for the preliminary final, if you remember, last year against Brisbane and acquitted himself very well. So they're my best 22, and I've put in a very versatile player in Matthew Kennedy as our sub. So that's my best 23. There will be some hard luck stories in that, probably a good six or seven players who you could argue, deserve an opportunity in that side, but you can't put 30 into 23.
That's it. Okay, so I've picked a team.
By the way, yes, did I just see someone put up a comment saying Kemp? Yes, Kemp was one of the ones I really tossed around. It was either Marchbank or Kemp, and I ended up going with Marchbank.
Okay, so this is my team.
Yep.
So I've got the same backs. I've got Marchbank, Wiedering, Newman, and then I've put on the halfback Sard, McGovern, and I've put Doherty on the halfback. I've put Akers, Walsh, and Ollie Hollands. I think Ollie Hollands was sensational last year.
Yep.
Whoa, hang on. We've just thank you, Seba. He's donated $14.99. Well done.
Good on you, Seba.
That's well done. That
wouldn't have to be Mr. Sebastiani, would it?
My centre line, I got to Akers, Walsh, and Hollands. I've put Martin, McKay, and Cottrell.
So that's the same as my one, yep.
Then I've put Motlop, Kerno, and Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
Then I've put DeConning, Cripps, and Chera. And my interchange is Kennedy, Owies, Hewitt, Kemp. And I've put Williams as a sub. In hindsight, I'd probably swap Williams with. I'd probably swap Williams with Owies in hindsight. But when I did it at the time, I thought we needed another small forward. So I think a lot of people are saying Owies not in my team and all that. I think we do need some small forwards. Let's face it.
Therefore you've left out Fantasia. I had Fantasia in.
Well, I was just going to say
you put Owies in instead. Yep.
Well, hang on. I was just going to say a lot of these players play similar roles. I mean, it was interesting that you said I put so and so as ruck rover and then Walsh rover. I don't think those positions really exist anymore. I think now they're all just midfielders, right?
Yeah.
So like Cripps is 6'4" apparently. So
as a matter of fact, I'm just looking at your centre player, your ruck rover, and your rover, and they're the same three players that I had. It's just you've rotated them into different positions.
No, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of shit about Zach on the Pine. So as I said, in hindsight, I'd probably put Owies on the Pine and Williams. But at the time, Williams to me I don't know. He looks very lackadaisical. Jared Dwyer saying Moya plays. First-year player.
Well, we don't know what he's all about yet. See, I'd love to put him in, but he's got to show me first before I put him in my best 23.
Yeah. Same here. I'm expecting big things from Cunningham this year. If not, I think he's going to be delisted. He's had more than enough. I know he had an injury a few years ago.
Well, he's only been given a 12-month contract, so the club is saying, we'll put faith in you for another year. But you're probably right. If he doesn't get on the park or doesn't get into good form, he'll probably be sent packing at the end of the year.
And the other one on your list that I don't know enough about is Elijah Hollins. I mean, from what I heard, he's
not on my list. Elijah Hollins is not on mine.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be honest. I haven't heard. I haven't seen him play much, and he's a bit inconspicuous. So I don't know.
Well, he's another one that has to show us what he's capable of before we can put him in our best 23.
Yeah. It's funny. People are going, Zach Williams on 650. He better play. Well, he hasn't played much already. So I don't know what's going to be different.
I wish it was 650. Try about 850, 900 for a halfback flanker.
Wasn't his contract front loaded? Was it back loaded?
No, I don't think it's loaded front or back. I think it's just consistent all the way through.
I think him and Jack Martin had front loaded contracts, and then it sort of
put it this way: we haven't had much value for the first 3 years, have we?
No, all with Mitch McGovern. So Shane is quite right. We need small forwards that apply pressure and that can. That's why Fogarty would be in his starting six.
Yes, that's a good point. I looked at Fogarty.
He did too, but his consistency worries me.
I think the problem with some half forwards is that they just don't kick enough goals, and Fogarty is probably in that bracket. I mean, he's a very good defensive forward from that point of view. That he does tackle and he does chase and all of those things, and that's important. Don't get me wrong. To put that forward pressure on, he's just got to get on the scoreboard a bit more often, I think.
Yeah, that's his thing. His brother is that his brother?
Really, Silvani. You can say the same about Silvani. He's always fantastic for effort and endeavour and chasing and tackling and scragging and smothering and all of those things, but he just doesn't get on the scoreboard enough for a forward. And you need more than just Harry and Charlie kicking goals. You need midfielders and you need half forwards and forward pockets all contributing.
Yeah. So that's our team. So when the team gets selected on, when would they publish it? Wednesday or Thursday?
Well, the game's on Friday, so there's a game before us, Melbourne and Sydney on the Thursday night. That's the opening game of the season.
Yeah.
So you would think that those teams will be announced on the Wednesday, and probably our teams as well. If they don't announce the final teams, it'll certainly be a squad. that will have a number of interchange players on it that we have to narrow down to, 4 plus a sub and whatever. So, I think you'll definitely have an idea by Wednesday at the latest, but you'll definitely have a firm 23 by Thursday night. Definitely.
Vince, start apologising to Lana now.
Yes, Lana. I know you got the. I was going to say the rose-coloured glasses, but the sauce-coloured glasses on. Yes, we all love Jack, and we love the family, and we love the Silvani dynasty at Carlton. But unfortunately, we won't be talking much about Jack this year because, as we all know, he did his knee, and that's sad. But hopefully he'll come back bigger and better than ever next year.
I thought last year was his best year, to be honest, and I was hoping that he could build on it. So, Jared asks, does anyone think Moyer will play? Look, you don't know
what's going on. That'd be a big call, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be a big call?
You don't know what's going on in the thinking. So, I don't think we'll see. We may see him later in the year, but I don't think he'll play.
I really believe that a lot of these new players, young Wilson, for example, number 35, and some of these draftees, I think they have to show us what they can do in the VFL and, have a good string of games, have a good string of 3 or 4 really good games before we give them an opportunity to play senior football. They've got to show us what they're capable of first before they just get, put straight into the team.
Okay, so Vince.
Yeah.
Like last year, we're going to have a tipping ladder. Who are you tipping this week and what margin?
This is the Brisbane Carlton game, obviously, at the Gabba.
Obviously.
Yes. As much as I'd love to tip Carlton, I'm not going to. I just don't think we look ready, and I think we look weak down back. And look forward, we do look threatening, but at the Gabba up there, I just can't see us doing it. I think it'll be Brisbane, and I think it'll be by about 5 goals. I'll say 29 points. There you go.
Just a hello to Mr. Christopher Beach.
Hey, Beachy. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I finally met a lot of people when I came to Melbourne over Christmas, as I've dropped my run sheets. Just excuse me for a minute.
Yes, I was just going to say, it was great to have you coming down and spending not only Christmas but New Year with us, Joe. And we had a bit of fun on New Year's Eve with Brownie over at the Melbourne.
Oh, we did.
New Year's Eve meeting, and we had the big fireworks display go off. It was fantastic to have you there, mate.
And I'd just love to send a cheerio to my lovely girlfriend, Tanya. Don't worry, Tanya. I'm going to get rid of Vince soon. We'll be together.
Yes. She came along with me today to the Life Members Luncheon, so she was very happy about that.
Tanya was very, very, very nice meeting her at the Trots, and Brownie and his wife. I forgot his wife's name.
Gail.
Lovely couple, and it was a good night. So you went for the Lions by what? 5 goals?
29 points.
29 points. Right. My heart says Carlton. My head says Carlton.
So does mine, but my head says Brisbane. And they always say tip with your head, not your heart.
I'm going to tip Carlton.
Okay. By how much?
I was going to say 79 points, but I'm being ridiculous. I'll say Carlton by.
I'll tell you what, if you're prepared to bet that and actually come off, you'd be winning a fortune if you could get that.
I'm going to say Carlton by 13 points. Harry to kick 6, Charlie to kick 5. There you go. You heard it here first.
Wow. All right.
You can call me Nostradamus next week. Vince, I
hope you're right, Joe. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope you're right. But I just don't see the evidence that we're really firing on all cylinders.
Well, we know who the real Carlton supporters are. Gina, Blues.
Yes.
Jason, Baggers. Who
Good
else?
on you guys.
Darren. Come on. Can't be doing that.
See, Darren's obviously a thinking
Lou. I like Lou.
He doesn't tip with his heart. Yes, Peter B. Blue Bagger, Brizzy by 24. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, they beat us by 17 in that prelim final. And I don't think they've got too many injuries. I think they're pretty full strength, Brisbane.
Don't worry. Joe Danaher will kick 1 goal 11. Don't worry. He can't be accurate. Vince, I asked you for some predictions and you gave me some very unbiased predictions.
Yes.
So let's go through them. Hang on, Lana.
Well, these predictions, Joe, can I just say these predictions are based on...
Hang on, Seb has donated $15 and then he says Brisbane by 36. I don't know. Lana's saying Blues with Aratz out of kick 3. Peter, I want you to be wrong, Peter.
Yes, we all want to be wrong if you've tipped Brisbane. We want to be wrong.
People are more than welcome to put up their predictions, but I asked for some, and these are the ones that I got from Vince.
Let's go through these one at a time from the left-hand side, right. Shall we?
Where will Carlton finish? Vince.
This is after the first. Is this after the home and away season or after the grand final?
Well, have a look. You've put first. That's what you just wrote.
Yeah, that's after the home and away. That's after the home.
All right.
Now, the basis upon my tipping for all of these categories is based on what the media are saying about us, whatever the Kool-Aid drinking Carlton supporters are all saying on Blue Abroad, and all of the commentators on Blue Abroad. And
you appear to be one of them.
Yeah, no, I just caught the bug. When you asked me to make my predictions, I thought, oh, gee, we've got it won. Cripps will win everything from an individual point of view, apart from the Coleman, where Charlie will win that for sure, kick 100. And
hang on.
And Carlton will finish first on the ladder. We'll play Collingwood in the grand final.
Hang on.
By a point.
Stop. I thought we were going through these one at a time.
We will. Let's go. Sorry. Go.
Yes.
All right.
So
I was going too fast.
Where will Carlton finish? Vince, first.
How many wins do you reckon? How many wins do you need to finish first, do you think?
According to you, we're going to have 23 or 24. I don't know how many rounds there are.
No, I don't think we'll go undefeated. But I've already tipped Brisbane to beat us in the first round. No, I think we'll have 17 wins by the end of the year, and I think we play 23 games, don't we? So I think sorry, not 17, 18 wins. Sorry, 5. I was predicting 5 losses. So I'm predicting 18 wins and 5 losses by the end of the season. Okay.
I don't know how many wins, but I'm a bit worried about our defence. I'm just worried. So I've said 5 to 8, where we finished last year.
We finished 5th last year, but importantly, Joe, we finished a whole 10 points. That's 2.5 games behind the 4th place team. Now, in the end, we beat that 4th place team, which was Melbourne, in a semi-final. So you can, so long as you're playing your best football at that time of the year, you can beat teams that are in the top 4. But history shows you that you really need to finish top 4 to win the premiership. I think there's only been 1 or 2 anomalies to that, where they've finished 5th or 6th, like the Bulldogs, for example, in 2016. But it's very few and far between. Usually you got to finish top 4.
Okay. Not 2024 grand final. Vince, Carlton, Collingwood.
I've said
Brisbane. I've said Brisbane v GWS. Lana, I'm not being negative. I'm being honest.
Hey, listen, you're predicting a very boring grand final where half the MCG will be empty.
Probably no, that'd never happen because there'd be all these corporate fat cats and people.
Yes, of course. I'm talking about real
game and sit there and go, "Oh, isn't this a marvelous game?"
They'll still get 100,000 there, but only 20,000 will be Brisbane and GWS supporters.
I'll go through this in a minute with you, Peter. He's put his up. Vince has put Carlton going to win the grand final by a point. I hope so. I hope Wayne Harms hits the ball back to Kenny Sheldon too. Lana, I am not. And I think Brisbane will win the grand final. I think, of course, Paddy Cripps is going to win the Norm Smith. I think Toby Green Only
Yeah,
'cause
and
he
that's
was
1 week.
courageous.
And that's 1 week after he wins the Brownlow.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to win the Brownlow. Pete. I actually think Bontempelli, if he has an injury-free year, the best and fairest. Well, Paddy Cripps, he's won the Norm Smith, he's won the Brownlow. You've got to win the bloody best and fairest. I think Adam Chera.
Yes.
And the Coleman is Charlie Curnow with 100 goals.
Yeah.
Right? And Harry McKay, I've said Harry McKay with 67.
Hey,
So,
when was the last time a Coleman medal winner kicked 100 goals?
I don't know. Hang on.
Was it when Buddy Franklin beat Brendan Favola? I think finished on 99 in 2008. Was that the last time?
Yeah, I think so. I think it is.
I don't think anyone's kicked 100 since then, have they?
No. So let's see. Seba, Pies back-to-back. Carlton finished 5th. Tom Green, Brownlow. Norm Smith, DeGoey. Coleman, Jeremy Cameron. No, not too bad. Peter V. Prediction, Blues 4th. Grand Final, Brisbane, Collingwood. Premiers, Brisbane. Norm Smith goes to Caden.
Caden Coleman. He's a good player. Gee whiz, he's a good player.
Don't even know who he is.
He tore us apart. He tore us apart in that prelim final.
Oh,
He's that Indigenous boy, number 18.
Yeah. No, I know who he is now.
Jeez, he's a skillful player. My word.
The Brownlow medal is Errol Goulden. He's at the Swans, isn't he? Carlton best and fairest is Cripps, and the Coleman is Charlie Curnow with 80.
That's a pretty logical, sensible prediction.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll see how many of these. Hey, you know what we'll do, guys? We'll compare all of these at the end of the season. We'll have to put up this screenshot here, Joe, in our last show, and see how close we were, you and I, to the predictions that we've made here.
I'll write down a couple of the other ones after the game, after the thing, and try to put them up.
Yeah.
I feel this side. Buddy. Seba agrees with you. It was Buddy in 08 was the last one to kick 100 goals.
Yeah.
All right.
Should have been for Bowler too, just quietly.
So we've been on air for an hour. We're close to finishing. Just a couple of things. We're going to change the format of the show. Not too much. Last year, you noticed we'd come on and we would give all the results of all the games and the ladder. This year, we're going to change it to we're just going to go straight into the Carlton game, statistics, do all our rubbish, and then probably do the other games at the end of the show. We're going to bring in a new segment called Big Vincenzo's Verdict, right? Or Vincenzo's Verdict. It's like Rocco's rant. So
you're going to have one too, Joe?
Hang on. The art department, me, is desperately trying to do a shot of Vince banging a gavel. So give me a couple of days.
Am I going to have one of those big silver that the judges have?
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to superimpose your face into one. So I'll do that. I probably won't have anything, but, I might have, every now and then if there's something funny like a football-related joke or meme, I'll put it up. Like what do you call a 30-year-old Collingwood woman? Nana? Something like that. What's got 3 teeth and has 100 people? Collingwood cheer squad. Just stuff like that. So I'll try and find some silly jokes or memes, but I won't be able to read. We're going to have the Big Vincenzo's bet. However,
not going to be horse racing related this time.
It's not going to be horse racing. It's going to be football related.
That's
so.
We're going to give you a footy tip every week.
Yeah, so Vince might say, 1 week he might say, okay, on my bet of the week is Carlton to beat Brisbane by 1-39. And then in other weeks he may give you a multi where he'll say Carlton to win by 1-39, Sam Walsh to get 30+ possessions, and Charlie Curnow to kick 4 goals. Just to multiply
it's
the
a more
odds.
football-related multi, a bit like mixed multi in the front bar, but not related to stupidness and silliness. This will be a serious football bet.
You won't say, can I have? And I'll go, no.
That's right.
Oh, I'm breaking up a bit, am I, Lana? Sorry, I still have a cold. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm still a bit nasally, so
Mm.
I apologise. Oh, I'd just like to thank Melbourne for when I came back. I was back one day and I caught COVID. Thanks very much.
Unbelievable.
Great present. So I spent Christmas away from the family because everyone was paranoid about getting COVID.
Unbelievable. Did you enjoy your time in the socialist utopia of Australia?
Look, do you want me to answer that honestly or next question?
Oh, whatever you like.
No. I'll be totally honest.
What were your impressions of Melbourne and Victoria? Saying you haven't been here for back in Christmas.
I thought Melburnians were particularly grumpy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anyone positive. Everyone gave me this, like they felt entitled because of COVID. There was not a lot of love for Dan Andrews. Yet, as I kept saying to people, you clowns voted him back in.
Yes, well,
I don't get it. Jace has come up with a joke.
No wonder you couldn't wait to get back on the plane and get back to Thailand. But anyway.
What's the difference between a good pizza and a bad pizza joke? The delivery. Boom. No, and I must admit, Vince, because I hadn't been in Melbourne for 6 years.
Yep.
And I thought a lot of those infrastructure projects would be close to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And they were nowhere close to finish. And I'm like, well, weren't they working during COVID? And people were complaining the blowouts and like, Lana, hang on, Peter, too many Karens. Let me tell you a story.
That's true.
Let me tell you a story that when I heard, I was shocked. Well, a couple of stories. First of all, I've got a very good friend. I won't mention his name. He's a big Carlton supporter. And he took his daughter to see the AFLW, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm led to believe that the W in that stands for women, right? And at halftime, he stood up and he clapped and he said, well done, girls, well played, girls, keep it up, girls. And some lady came down and tapped him on the shoulder and said, excuse me, can you stop? Can you refrain from saying that? And he said, saying what? And she said, don't you know that some of those girls or some of those people out there don't identify as being women, but identify as non-binary? To which my friend said, I respect your view. Please respect mine. And she said, well, it's not a view, it's truth. And he said, well, I thought I was at the AFLW. So if they don't identify as women, why are they playing the game? And she just said, oh, you're so narrow-minded. About 5 minutes later, someone from the Carlton Football Club came and tapped my friend on the shoulder and said, excuse me, sir, there's been a complaint about you. I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Purely based on a complaint?
Based on that complaint, the lady
How about two sides to the story?
The lady had said that my friend had upset her and her friends who all identified as non-binary, right? And that he was so narrow-minded and he got asked to leave. To which point he said because he had to take his
what is the world coming to?
He had to take his 8-year-old daughter, who he led away from the game crying because she couldn't stand there and weren't her idols. And he said to the lady, I hope you're glad you made my daughter cry, to which the lady said, well, maybe you should teach her about the real world, how there's men, women, and people that don't identify as either. So,
welcome to the 21st century in the Western world.
When I heard that, I just thought, you're kidding. And then my 4-year-old nephew is telling me about now this kid's 4 years old, mind you. He doesn't even know what he wants for lunch. And he's trying to tell me that Australia is not white man's land, it's First Nation land, and that we should vacate the land. And I said to him, do you know what you're talking about? And he said, no, that's just what my teacher told me. So, anyway, I don't want to get on that.
I don't need to add to any of that.
Petra asked, is Brownie coming back on the show? No, we said at the start of the show, Petra, that Peter has reluctantly stepped away. He's going to be doing a lot of travel with his lovely wife, Gail. And so he thought it unfair that he commit to a whole year. He will hopefully pop in from time to time. Vince is on the hunt for a new Peter Brown. I'm sure he put a few irons in the fire today at his luncheon.
That's for sure.
Stay tuned. Hey, Vince.
Stay tuned. We will get someone. Don't you worry about that.
Nearly time to end the show, but can I remind people about the upcoming shows that are on the Jumper Punch? So on Tuesday, we have the actual Jumper Punch show, which is shown on the Blue Abroad channel. I know most of the people are on there. So that's with Rocco, Mars, and Paolo. So let's hope that they have a really good start to the season on Tuesday night.
Can I just interrupt for a moment? Hang on, before we go on to Wednesday. Can I just also alert everyone to a change with the Jumper Punch show this year?
Yes, yes.
It will not be recorded on a weekend and then aired, if you like, or broadcast on a Tuesday evening. No. It will now be live to air on a Tuesday. So that allows everyone to get on there and put forward their comments and questions, and the boys can have a read of those and even address your comments or questions or opinions on air, live on the show. So it'll be a live show this year.
Lana, you're both breaking up. I don't think it's us. I think it's you, because I'm hearing Vince loud and clear and he's hearing me. And you're the other one. Is anyone else experiencing us breaking up? Please speak now. Okay, so we've got the Jumper Punch Tuesday night on the Blue Abroad channel, 7 p.m.
Yep.
Wednesday night on the Jumper Punch, we have two shows. We've got Forever Rivals, and is Legends of the Jumper Punch still showing, Vince?
Look, this year, I think Rocco and the boys are going to be working on getting a few different types of people. We've had basically past players and a few ex-coaches so far for the first couple of years that I've been organising guests to be interviewed. They've generally been past Carlton players, most of them prominent Carlton players and premiership players. So we're going to go in a slightly different direction this year. I won't be doing that. I won't have the time to dedicate to that. And it does take a hell of a lot of work and a lot of effort behind the scenes. You probably don't understand that, but it does require a lot of organisation to get those interviews to take place. So with that, I think Rocco and the boys are planning on having a few different types of people in the Legends of the Jumper Punch series. So just keep an eye out for that. I'm not sure that it's been organised for this coming Wednesday, but it'll certainly be talked about on the first Jumper Punch show, which is this Tuesday night. So make sure you tune in. That's what I just said. And also, you've got Rocco's son on Thursday night doing Double, which is a basketball show. So that's that. And then don't forget, you've got me and Vince on a Sunday night at 7:30 with the Jumper Punch. So with Blue Sunday. Brings us to the end. That brings us to the end of the show. I'm trying to do two things here. Don't forget on Facebook at Blue Sunday, and also the Jumper Punch and the Facebook channel, Jumper Punch. As Vince says, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe. So like, share. And that's basically it. So, Vince, on that note, do you have anything else to add? Not at this stage, Joe. Looking forward to the start of the season. Should be a big game on Friday night against Brisbane. Let's all watch that, and I look forward to pulling apart the game, whether we win, lose, or draw the game next Sunday night. Yep. So, on behalf of Big Vincenz and Bangkok Joe, I'd like to say good night. I hope everyone has a great week. Stay safe, and hopefully this is what they'll be playing on Friday evening. We are the Navy Blues. We are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows.
send up, we'll keep our end up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark blue.